I'm Lauren.
I'm Kaylee.
And we're the creators of Get Messy.
Get Messy is an art journey membership community with a focus on creating and connecting with other artists. It's both for beginners and experienced art journalists.
This is our monthly interview series, Messy Conversations, where we talk to some of our favorite art journalers and have them share their talents, secrets, and inspiration with us.
Through these conversations, we hope that you'll learn more about art journaling and are encouraged to find your own style by seeing all the differences in the artists that we interview. We especially hope that you're inspired to make something.
If you would like to become a part of our community, go to getmessyartjournal.com or check us out on Instagram at getmessyartjournal.
So let's chat. Hello and welcome to another Messy Conversation. I'm Kaylee and I'm here with Lauren, and today we are interviewing a really incredible and talented artist, Karen, and she's from Ireland. And we're really excited to talk to her and to introduce her to you or let you find out more about her today in this Messy Conversation. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Kaylee. Hi, Lauren.
I want to keep saying Karen because that's an Afrikaans way, but okay, Karen. Can you tell us about you, please?
Okay, well, I live in Dublin at the moment, and I'm originally from Scotland, so we moved around quite a bit, and I've always loved being creative. I've knitted, sewed, embroidered, painted, everything for a really long time since school, and I don't work in a creative job or anything like that, so it's all like part-time kind of hobby thing at the moment. So I came to kind of Get Messy last March, I think, at the end of Season of Love. I think I was joined like the last week or something, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to wait for the next season. I think Brave was the first season I did. So then, like, since then, like, my art journaling's just gone exploded. So I've discovered so many new things and tried so many different things, and really kind of seen my style grow so much over that time.
Yeah, and I'd say you're quite like a prolific artist as well.
Well, I try to be, much to the dismay of my husband, but yeah, I try to be. Yeah, it caused a few arguments.
Yeah.
So wait, did you start art journaling with Get Messy, or were you already art journaling?
I was already a little bit. I think I kind of started like in January of that year, because I was kind of like, okay, I'm not doing something that I really wanted. I want to do something. I wanted to make art. Like, I knitted for years, and I do still knit a little bit, but since I got into the art journaling, I'm kind of like, okay, well, this is actually really something that really appeals to me, always has done. So yeah, we really started art journaling probably in January of last year, so just over a year doing it. And then I kind of was watching YouTube videos and stuff, kind of copying some techniques that they were doing, and then I started getting involved with Get Messy because I found it. I think I was just googling like art journal stuff, and the website came up. So and then I joined because I thought it looked really cool. So obviously it wasn't quite as big as it is now when I joined even a year ago. So it's grown huge since then.
Yeah.
All right, well, go ahead and show us some of your pages so we can see what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, when I started, I was really just copying stuff from YouTube.
Is that from when you started, Karen?
That's my first page.
Ridiculous.
That's my first page, yeah. But I mean, I did a lot of scrapbooking and stuff, and like art stuff wasn't new to me. Like using paints and stuff wasn't new to me. So I had a lot of like stuff left over from scrapbooking. So I had like stickers and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that part of it, I guess I had a little bit of a head start because it wasn't a new concept to me. But then like I was really just totally copying YouTube videos. That's all I was doing. So I would have to say at this point in like my first journal, I really did lose the style, because some of the stuff is just like I don't even know what's going on with this page. So, you know, kind of some of the stuff I was using, it wasn't really fantastic, but I enjoyed it, and then I kind of started using like textured kind of modeling medium stuff in it, and you know, so kind of it quickly kind of grew, and then that's, I think, that's a very early page, but it's probably where I first started kind of saying, okay, actually, maybe I am actually thinking of something original. I can think of something in my head, and I can see it through. So that was kind of cool. And then we started getting into Get Messy. So this is my first Get Messy page. So it was just kind of, it was quite simple still, but like colours and stuff were, I don't know, colours always come easy to me. It's not something I've had to kind of go, what colour goes with this colour? I just kind of throw it on and just get on with it. And then that was Brave that season. So I kind of felt at this stage I was starting to see a little bit of my style, but I was also still copying other people as well. This was, I think, the first time I really kind of got involved. Can you remember you put up on this email adventure and I was like, oh my God, you've got to have something about up. And then you just replied, well, why don't you write something? And I did. And that was the prompt. It was really cool to be able to kind of get involved like that. So that was awesome. And then kind of starting to kind of like actually journal in my journals about stuff that had happened, because that's not something that comes naturally to me. Really, I prefer to kind of make something that's just like, I like this, I'm just going to make it. It's not. I know after watching Vanessa's one, I'm like, oh my God, I feel really superficial now because all I do is throw a few bits of pretty stuff on a page. There's nothing deeper in it. Oh yeah, and then that was kind of like Kaylee, I was trying to copy like your style there to kind of see, can I do like minimal, and I was like, no, can't do minimal, can't do no colours, have to have paint on it. And then when we moved kind of into like this was the start of, this is one of Vanessa's sketchbooks, this is like the start of Serenity, the season of Serenity here. I kind of felt that actually, yeah, I'm kind of hitting my stride now, like really see things in my head. I can think of things without, like the prompt is like a starting point for me, and then, you know, I just go with it wherever it takes me. I don't worry too much if I'm not following it. If it takes me off on a tangent somewhere else, then that's okay too. I don't really care. So the Get Messy swap, we started up, me and Julia, and we'd all swap stuff. So this was one of the first pages that I did with your stuff, Kaylee. So it was very interesting because this stuff I wouldn't have picked. I wouldn't put these items together, but I was able to kind of still put my slant on it, but it's still quite a Kaylee influenced page on that one as well. And then like Julia had sent me things as well.
Oh yeah.
So again, like that's quite a Julia page. So it's really interesting when you start to work with other people's things, which is why I love the swap so much. It's loads of fun. It's really cool to be able to try something that you would normally do. And then this was my actual swap partner. I think it was Zinnia that was my swap partner again. So again, it's not stuff. It's very scrapbooky because I know she does a lot of that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't be something that I would normally use, but I enjoyed using it nonetheless. So it's really cool. Yeah, and then kind of I was lucky enough to be able to do some of the prompts and Serenity as well. This is one of my prompts for Serenity, so that was really cool with the music and stuff, and it seemed to go down really well. So that was really cool. And then kind of I moved into like my niece comes phase. Like every page is like covered in these kind of results from her classes. I became a bit obsessed. So I mean, like it's cool because everything I've done, it's brought me somewhere else. It's moved me along, and you know, I'm able to learn so much, even if it's a page that I don't really like. I can kind of say, okay, well, I don't like that, but that's okay. I don't have to go and do it again. I might pick up a technique or a color use or something, and I'll be like, okay, well, I won't use this again, but I will use that. So you can kind of move it around as well. That's what I really love. So I feel like my style is always evolving, always changing. Everyone can influence you. If something you see, something you hear can influence you a lot as well.
Yeah. I love that. I think you are so good at taking inspiration and taking it in whatever form it gives you, even if it's like you say, like a page that you don't like. So that would be like kind of like negative inspiration, you know, like you can see, so you take everything around you. And I think that that's something that you're really talented with. I don't know. Do you want to speak more about inspiration?
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, inspiration for me, I get a lot of inspiration from like musical lyrics. So, and it wouldn't necessarily just be a song that I really love. It could be a song that I don't particularly like, but I'll literally be walking down the street and I'll hear something coming out of a shop and I'll be like, okay, that I have to use that. And it will, immediately I'll kind of, on my walk home, it'll be kind of percolating in my mind, okay, what could I do with this? What kind of lyrics could I do? And then I might kind of Google the lyrics, and then, I'll kind of think, okay, well, I'll do that. And then I'll maybe kind of come up with a bit of a theme. And then what I'll do is then I'll use something like Pinterest to Google maybe some images but when I'm Googling stuff on Pinterest, I always have something in my mind. Like I know what I'm looking for. So if I know I want to do something that's red, okay, I'll just Google red or search it on Pinterest, and it'll bring something to me that I'll be like, okay, yes, I can use that. Because I'll just grab my recent one. Sorry, just a second. So I think I have it in here. This is my more recent one. I have a page that I made. I think which kind of shows you. Yeah, so this one is quite a recent page. And you can see that. So I was literally walking home and I heard this Portishead song coming out of a shop. And I was like, oh my God, I have to use that. So then as I was going home, I was like, okay, what can I use it for? What can I use it for? And then I can't remember. I think I Googled the lyrics and pulled them all up. And then because it was like hearts, give me a reason to love you, I just Googled hearts. And then I was on Pinterest looking at hearts. And then this art quill came up. That had a heart image on it. So I was like, okay, that's really cool. And she had loads of like really detailed strips all the way down. And I was like, oh, I don't have time for that. So I just drew the heart and then I cut it out and then I stitched on the fabric as well. So that's kind of all of the ideas kind of came together to make that page. And it was no theme or prompt or anything. It was just literally just a song I heard in a shop, and that was it. So I think if you really want to, inspire yourself, don't be on Pinterest. Don't kind of be, sitting there for hours on end, pinning all the stuff and looking at all that everybody else is, because you're just comparing yourself to everyone else, which is the worst thing you can do. I think if you open your eyes properly, you can really see so much around you. You can see so much information around you, like even just an advertisement or a poster or anything like that. You can get so much information from everything that's around you. And for me, I don't write things down because I never find it hard to remember. What I've kind of goes in a little filing cabinet and I'll pull it out later on. It just, that's for me. But I mean, like, not everyone is like that. So, if you need to take a little notebook or something around with you, then that's what you do. And just start listening when you go to the shops. They're always playing music. So listen to what songs they're playing. You might find some kind of a lyric sticks in your head or something like that. And you're away then, so you never know where it's going to take you.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I'm glad that's good. But like in talking in terms of style, because I think that's like what we were saying about new people, and they find it so hard to find their style. I don't think you have to have a style. Not at the beginning. You're not going to. Your pages are going to be like that at the beginning, or you're going to hate them because you don't feel like it's you, because you're just trying to copy people. And you have to do that. You really have to do that. You can't not do that. Because how are you going to learn if you don't learn from other people? Like they would have learned from someone else too. And just like as an example, I'm doing Roxanne Coble's Creatures class at the minute. So this is the start of it. I'm probably like halfway through. Now, this is not me at all. It's not a colour palette I would use. I hardly ever use magazines in my pages. But I'm learning so much about adding layers into my work from just this class, even though I'm not going to do this again. And I paid money for it. I don't feel like I've been kind of, wasted my money or anything, because I've learned so much about how she uses all the techniques, how she uses the mark making, how she pulls a design from just one tiny piece and uses it across the page, and how to kind of unify your page so that I know when I go back to do another page in a similar kind of way, approaching it in the same kind of method, it'll be totally me, but I'll have used her style to help me get more details into my work. So I think it's really vital to kind of do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Karen, say the name of the class again.
It's the Creatures class by Roxanne Coble. You can buy it, I think, on her Etsy shop. I think it was like, I think I got it early, so I think it's like $50 or something. I think it's a little bit more now, but it's totally worth it because there's so many videos in it. I think there's like 5 videos, and like each video is at least 35 to 45 minutes long. So there's a lot in each class. And she teaches you a lot about how she uses acrylics, how she uses oil pastels, how she, you know, kind of, you do the whole class is basically each step she goes through to make this particular spread, this one spread. And I was a bit like, one spread, will I, you know, but there's so much in it. There's some, I would definitely recommend it for anyone kind of who wants to build up their layers on their page, wants to know how to start adding layers, to add a bit of depth and interest rather than just kind of a bit of paint and a sticker or a picture and then that's it. You know, if you want to get into the art making part of it, I suppose, a little bit more, then that would be a really good one to start. She's an amazing artist, I think.
Okay. We'll have links to all of this in the show notes in case you guys want to look this up at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, Karen, what you are really fantastic at is jelly plates. And so I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I have no idea what jelly plates are or how to use them, even though I've looked at tutorials and tried to figure it out online. So walk me through from the beginning what a jelly plate is, because I don't feel like that's a very common thing. Like, it's catching on now. It's becoming a new thing. But it's not common, Yeah,
well, you can get different sizes of jelly plates. So the one I have, I'm not sure the exact dimensions, but it's more or less A4. It's a little bit smaller than A4. So this is the jelly plate. It comes with like in a protective plastic sheet, so you have to keep it in that. I think otherwise, because I'd say it probably would dry out. It wouldn't keep it. So it's literally like paper made out of jelly, if you like. You know, it's really like jelly. It's like literally like touching jelly. It's firmer, but it is like touching jelly, and it stinks. It's really plasticky kind of smelling. It gets better once you've used it a few times. So the best thing to tell you about jelly plates is to get one, really, honestly, because they're not that expensive, and you can get small ones that are really small. I think I asked my lovely parents for one for my birthday there, so it's waiting for me down in Kildare, so I have to get to it. But it's literally small enough to fit on a really one of the larger acrylic blocks. Like if you use it for stamping, so you can get them that small. This is kind of big. You really need to kind of be putting your paper on this. Whereas the smaller ones would be really cool because you can just put the paint on it and then put it straight into your journal. So you can actually literally jelly plate straight in the journal. You can with this, but it's because it's quite big, it's not very easy to manipulate. And if you've got a spine going down, then it's hard to get a clean kind of print. But the great thing about jelly plates is that they're not meant to be a clean print. It's meant to be kind of random, and you never know what you're going to get. So you kind of start with, these are just some papers that I have because I always have a stash of jelly plate papers. So you can really go mad with the colour. So you put like one layer of colour down first. You'll put your paper, you'll spread it down, and then you'll pull the paper up. And then what happens is you obviously get quite a random kind of painted effect on it. Then you can put another piece of paper down and take another print, which is what they call a ghost print, and it's a slightly lighter version of the original print that you would have taken. And then what you can do is you'll have like a ghost print and you'll have the original, and then you can put down some more paint. So you'll be using a brayer for this, and it's really great to mix the paints on the plate. You can just like literally put blobs and then start swirling it around a little bit, and then you can use your brayer to really kind of layer it on. And then you can start taking like say your ghost print and use that as the first print, and then use the first print that you took as the ghost print for the second one. So you can really layer. And then like you can use, it's really great to use with your stencils. Like this is a ghost print, and you can really give a lot of detail to your, like this one has got like probably about 4 or 5 different layers on top of it. So even a really random, like this has got orange. I think this was like, this one, I think this one has like orange in the background, and then I've got like green and blue on top of it, and then this one is like the reverse. It's just like green and blue, and then it's got the orange, so I'm probably done with the orange, but it's so simple to use. Like my daughter who's 6, she helped me do these, so it's so easy to use. It's really, really cool. And then you have all this beautiful paper then you can work with for whatever you want to kind of work with on it. So it's really cool. And then if you can just kind of throw it, like I think some of my spreads in this one, because this is kind of my most recent one. So
I'm sorry, what kind of paint are you using, Karen?
Acrylic. You need acrylic.
Okay.
I think I've seen a few things that people have used like watercolors, but it's not going to give you the same effect.
Oh, yeah.
So it has to be acrylic because it has to be able to stick to the surface. And cheap acrylic is fine. You'll probably find some of your acrylics may work better, but that's just trial and error. But I use the really cheap, like they're literally €1.50 for a tube, and I use those. And I also have a few golden ones that I will maybe throw in if I like the color, but it doesn't have to be expensive ones. And when you're kind of doing it, you're able to kind of put stuff in the background and then kind of layer on top of it as well. So if you have one and you don't have any paper left, you can just literally I'll just slap it in my journal and kind of leave it. Like I think this one here is a page I haven't made yet, but it started off with a little bit of jelly plate on the back of it, so it's really great to be able to clean it off, and you don't have to be precious with it. When it comes to cleaning, you can just leave it. It doesn't matter, but you do have to be careful with sharp objects. Like you can't use anything sharp on it because it will score it, and then you'll get that mark forever basically because it doesn't heat yourself. So if you can draw into it like with the tip of a paintbrush that's kind of rounded, and you can get some really cool effects kind of going around like that. You can use like a Q-tip and take off bits of paint, and you can also use a paintbrush to actually paint onto it as well in sections, so you can actually paint a picture. There's some really cool YouTube videos where people have kind of painted one section, then taken a print, then painted a different section, taken a print, then painted them. It's an amazing tool. Like there's so much you can do with it, and then when you start kind of adding in like bubble wrap, you can put on top of the paint and then take it off, then take a print. You could put like string on top of it and then take a print. You could put flowers or petals or something and press it in and then take them off, then take a print. It really takes a lot of different textures on it. It's really cool. I love it. I love using mine. It's really cool.
Oh wow! I feel like I need to go order one right now.
Yeah, you do, and they're not crazy expensive. It's not like hundreds of dollars or euros or anything. I mean, it's not a crazy expensive one. I don't know about now shipping where you are, Lauren, but I'm sure it's worth it. It's totally worth it because it's something you'll use again and again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Cough break.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Karen, you shared a tip for new people who are new to art journaling. One of your big tips was to copy. Are there any other tips that you have for people who want to get started?
Don't buy a cheap journal. That's like my number one. Like, if you're going to the art store and you're like, okay, I want to buy a journal. I mean, spiral bound, stitch, blah blah blah. That's really not important. That's real personal preference to whether you like. I personally couldn't even look at a spiral bound journal. But if you are at the store and you're like, okay, will I buy this one or this one? Like, look at what's the cheapest one, what's the most expensive one, and kind of go for the one in the middle. Like, don't. Your first one anyway. I mean, when you kind of get into it, then it's moleskin all the way, baby. But if you don't want to spend so much money because you're worried, like, okay, this is really expensive. Don't buy, because life is way too short for cheap paper. You need to kind of have something that will take your mediums and grow with you. And then I think just start with one thing. Like, start with like acrylic paint. Because it's easy to get a hold of. It's not hard. It's cheap. You can buy like cheap paintbrushes and they'll work okay with it. You don't have to spend loads of money on like cleaning stuff, and water will clean it off easy enough for you. And then you can paint it on, you can sponge it on, you can use it with stencils, you can water it down and really kind of get like acrylic kind of type techniques. You can God, you can use everything with it. You can layer it. It's really easy to mix as well. It comes in so many cool colors that, you don't have to spend an awful lot of money on it. And I think that's probably don't be overwhelmed with all of the things that are out there, because there are all of the things, and everyone is like, oh, what's this, and what pens do I use? And, just start small, and you'll find what you like. Something like watercolor, it's great, and I like it, but you need to have watercolor paper, and you really need to have decent watercolors as well, and it's a little bit more unpredictable than acrylic, I think. With acrylic, you get a bit more of a kind of, quickly you learn how to use the paint, and then just kind of branch out in whatever it is that you like. If you really are into color, use color. If you're really into using magazines, use magazines. Go with your gut, I think, is the best thing. Don't try to follow what everybody else is doing. Just, take your own path and just go your own way, because look at all of us, even just the three of us, our styles are totally different. I couldn't work like either of you guys work, and you probably couldn't work like how I work. So, whether that's what makes it so good, there's kind of I suppose there's a role model for everybody out there as well, all of the different creative team, we're all so different, and all of the members are so different that you'll always find something that someone's doing. You're like, oh, I really like that. How are you doing it? Like Lauren, you're asking about the jelly plates and stuff like that. So yeah, I think just reach out. If you are part of the community, then reach out, because there's so many people that will help you. So much support there, so much help, so much advice, and everyone is just really supportive. And if you want to share your work, that's fantastic, and everyone will really be really positive about it. There's so many groups, like I think I mentioned in the Facebook post, like when people are like, this is my work, isn't it terrible, I really hate it, don't be like that. Like, if you want to share your work, then own it if you're going to share it. And nobody's going to be like, oh, I don't like that, that's rubbish. You'll be kind of really supportive, and just because it is hard to share. It's really hard to share, especially if you've done something personal. And it's okay not to share, but if you do share, you get so much more out of the community if you get involved. There's no point sitting in the sidelines, because that's how you make friends. And, you get on the creative team and you get to, kind of write prompts. And, there's so much. If you want to get involved, then you guys are really kind of welcoming to everyone who wants to actually get involved. So it's really cool.
Thanks, Karen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us, Karen. I love getting to know more about you and to see your work. And thanks for the personal lesson on jelly plates.
You better tag it when you put up the video now. Jelly plate tutorial included. Yeah. No, you're very welcome.
Yeah, and we'll have links to everything in the show notes below. And so to learn more about us and to see more of these videos, just go to getmessyartjournal.com, and we'll see you later for another messy conversation.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.